Hi, I'm Johnny Temple from Akashic Books, speaking to you from my coronavirus quarantine in Brooklyn. Today, I'm very happy to be speaking with the award-winning novelist Bernice L. McFadden, who most recently wrote the book Praise Song for the Butterflies, which was published, like a lot of Bernice's books, by myself at Akashic Books. So welcome, Bernice.
Thank you for having me, and hello from my coronavirus lockdown,
Indeed,
also in Brooklyn.
also in Brooklyn. Uh, Bernice, how has your daily life been since being quarantined, and have you been able to write at all?
I think I'm just starting to write. I've been struggling. I've been struggling for weeks and weeks and weeks. In any case, before the coronavirus issue. But here in Brooklyn, I'm with my mother, and so I don't have a personal space. And this is her domain. So I try to get some writing in very, very early in the morning or after 7 or 8 o'clock at night when she goes into her room and closes the door. It's been a challenge to write here because I'm in my mother's space. And but what it has done for me, I think the isolation is it's forced me to really sit and be quiet and be one with my thoughts. And I have a lot to think about watching the news. Um, and it's creating, I think, fertile ground for new work. I know everybody's going to come out of this with a pandemic, story, essay, or poem. And I think I have all three.
And have you been reading?
I have. So what I did was I have a few books here, but my life is in New Orleans, so all of my books are there. So I bought about 10 or 12 books in the first 2 weeks that I was here, and I have them around me. So I'm reading about New Orleans. I'm actually reading some August Wilson plays.
Hmm.
What else do I have? I'm reading some poetry. I love Patricia Smith. And so I'm reading her, and yeah, and I'm listening to, which I'm enjoying. Those ghosts are my family. I think that's the title. So yeah, I'm taking in a lot of different literature.
Do you generally read a lot of poetry?
I love poetry. Yeah, that it really helps to center me, and I use it to find a rhythm and a pacing. Yeah.
And do you ever write poetry?
Once in a very blue moon. But I think I have a poem that's kind of like um growing inside of me that of course has to do with this craziness that we're dealing with.
I saw, I believe it was on Facebook, a very delicious looking meal you had cooked, or maybe it was a dessert that you had cooked.
Oh yeah.
Can you
I
describe
made
it?
a springy blueberry
That's
lemon
what I thought.
bread. I just was like, I feel like I wanted something sweet. I don't eat a lot of sweets. And so, yeah, this is the time for baking. And I think tonight I'm going to make, I think it's called olive oil cake. But I'm freezing a lot of it. Take a piece or two and then I'm freezing it because I'm trying not to gain any weight.
And is your mother eating any of your cooking?
I give her very, very little sweets, but we eat very healthy in here. And I think that's one of the things that really, that's protecting us because our immune systems are kind of top notch.
So this crazy year 2020 happens to mark the 10th anniversary of when Akashic Books first published your wonderful novel Glorious.
Yeah.
That was the first time we had collaborated together. And very soon this year, during 2020, we will be publishing a 10-year anniversary hardcover edition of the book,
That's
which,
crazy.
yeah,
It's like 10 years went like that.
no, it's amazing. When we published it as a trade paperback original. So we're looking forward to doing this 10th anniversary hardcover edition while the paperback remains in print. Why do you think the book has continued to find such a strong readership year after year?
I think one, it's because people are still discovering me, period, which is fabulous. It's 20 years I've been doing this. Um, I think also Easter's story is fascinating. She's a composite of two great writers from the Harlem Renaissance, which is Zora Neale Hurston and Nella Larsen, both of whom kind of died in obscurity, um, which is something I think about a lot. I think that the journey Glorious takes people on is a fascinating one. And also, we don't have, as far as I know, you might know better, we don't have a lot of stories written in contemporary times that address the Harlem Renaissance, which is amazing to me. So I also think that people are becoming very aware of the more things change, the more things stay the same. And Glorious is representative of that. Um, and much like Watchmen, I don't know if you got to see it. So Watchmen is this contemporary story that's grounded in this historical event. And Glorious is a story written in contemporary times, grounded in historical events. And so for people who aren't really into reading nonfiction, historical nonfiction, I think this is, Glorious is a way to introduce them to that type of literature.
Whatever fiction you're working on now, does it have a historical component?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it does. And I'm really dying to sit down and reconnect with that book. Hmm.
Are you
And I'm sorry.
are you willing to let any of our viewers get a glimpse into what it is that you're working on? And it's fine if you do not want to do that.
Well, here's what I will say about this particular novel. I started working on it, I want to say all the way back in like 2001, 2002. And the title is The Myth of Fingerprints.
Hmm.
And I remember giving the first few pages of the novel to my then editor. I was with Penguin, and she wasn't, she didn't embrace it. She didn't embrace it, and I put it aside, and that was fine because I think it needed to marinate. And now I have more insight into the subject because it's almost 20 years. Um, I will say that those early pages, I don't believe I knew where the story was set, but now I think that a major part of the story is going to be set in New Orleans.
Great.
Mhm. Which is probably why the universe sent me there.
Bernice, I'm not going to keep you any longer, and I want to thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me from our respective quarantines today. It's a deep, deep honor to publish you. I know you know I feel this way, and and I hope we continue to do more great work together. And I hope you're able to continue to stay safe during this difficult period.
I wish the same for you. And Johnny, thank you so much for taking a chance on me because I received about 30 or 40 no's for Glorious. So
I don't know
here's
what.
to 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a great decade working with you, and
Here.
stay safe.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.